Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to King of Dragon Pass. Let's proceed to the next year. Let's see. We've not honored our clan deity by performing the Heroquest of Glorantha and Heroquesting. I don't have an Glorantha person, though. God Talkers predict a more or less normal harvest. They heard Ernalda crying beneath the earth and said that our crops might suffer terribly if we did not learn one of her blessings before this year was through. Okay, I guess we're putting a point into mysteries. I'm going to put a point into quests as well. Let's put a point into war, herds, and 2 into crops. I'm going to try to do a hero quest. Temertane suggests that I do Glorantha and Heroquesting. I think that's a fairly hard one, though. It's not the hardest, but... yeah, maybe we'll try it. Alright, let's go ahead and proceed. Anything else that I want? Nah, we're good. Led by Ingana, respected Carl. The women of the clan reproach the ring for costly blunders, battles, and raids, even victorious raids. Have killed so many husbands and sons that the women do not know how they will raise their families. We've taken care of our homes and our fields. You have not taken care of our husbands, says Ingana. If things do not improve, we may have to return to our original clans, much as we hate that idea. Let's arrange suitable marriages with surviving bachelors. Ingana scoffed at this suggestion. There are not enough men to provide half of us with husbands, much less husbands of substance. Who knows the difference between plow and drinking horn? Okay. Authorize women to temporarily form joint households. Women said they wanted men, not to live with other women. Sponsor a marriage contest to draw men from other clans. The widows agreed. Okay. That cut into our food, though. Nearly 20 young men competed to join our clan. On the women's insistence, we added an amusing test in which contestants had to entertain young children to the usual tests of poetry, pig-calling, sword-fighting, and wrestling. Saranil, a Carl from the Hendart clan, won the contests, mainly on the strength of his poetry. 11 other worthy Orlanthi men gained wives, land, and some cattle from the chief's herd. Okay, I guess we can go with that. Should be okay on food. Got a few wounded and sick. Alright. Oh, shoot. I'm blanking on Ernalda, I think it was. Okay, so we've got preserve. Helps preserve food against spoilage. Well, let's go ahead and sacrifice. Go with 5 cows and 10 goods. We have learned the workings of the swine blessing ritual. Increases the fertility of our sows. Okay. I want to go ahead and build a shrine, get the... oh, hello. Ernaldini, one of the most promising young god-talkers of Ernalda in your clan, has been neglecting her duties of late. She often disappears for hours at a time. Her uncle follows her one day and discovers that she's been going into the forest to talk and laugh with a spirit. When word of her activity spreads, some of the people are concerned. The spirit will do us no harm. Convince the people that there is no harm in it. Forbid her to visit the spirit. You can't trust spirits. They are outside Hjort's laws. Send for shamans to drive off the spirit. If you turn a ghost into a treasure, you are still haunted. The world is full of spirits. Some are good, others are bad. Most of them have their own selfish goals, just like people. Send for shamans to capture the spirit. It will cost more to capture the spirit, but a captured spirit is a kind of treasure. If you turn a ghost into a treasure, you are still haunted. The spirit is harmful, but I can convince the people otherwise if you want. Let's just convince the people there is no harm in it. That's what our leader says. The people were glad to hear this. Alright, it is now fire. I actually want preserve for now. I do want bless crops, but, you know, we'll take what we get. I don't have anything of Lankar Mai. Let's send off an emissary. Call in favor, ask for information. I'm not actually sure who we have favors with. Favors due. Boscovi, Brown Boar, Lanisi. Where are the Lanisi? All the way down there. Alright, let's go after the Lanisi. Ask for information. Let's give them 5 goods. Alright, we'll see how that goes. Let's try a cattle raid on the Tadanlings. 10 footmen, 4 weapon thanes. We give up our cattle raid because the Tadanlings had just fought off an attack by the trolls. Our weapon thanes saw us and warned us to leave them or face the entire field. We knew enough to leave. Your emissary, Rostikos, approaches the Lanisi to seek information from them. What does he ask? Do you know any secret stories of the gods? There should be fear among the clans of Dragon Pass. No. Do you know any secret stories of the gods? Clan Chief Dangmag instructs his God-talkers to tell us the story of the Storm Age. It was a story we already knew. Dang it! And we're being raided by the Tadanlings. Let's go ahead and use our gray net. Well... yeah, we'll use it, but I'm not actually going to try and take captives. I'll try to drive them off in skirmish, just in case. Let's sacrifice to Orlanth. Oh, come on. The Tadanlings tried to circle around us, but our missiles took a heavy toll on them. Fierce fighting ensued. Our magic helped carry them to victory. We were forced off the battlefield, and the Tadanlings made off with 8 horses. They took 7 of our women auxiliaries captive. Aww. Ask for the usual ransom, 35 cows worth of goods. I'll pay them. Like her father and her grandmother before her, Orngaren has been struck down by a strange fever long before her natural time of death. She will say nothing more of the curse, for fear that it would bring bad luck to her children and the rest of the clan. But she gives us a magnificent poem about the good things in her own life, and says she hopes we will remember her. Then she dies. Ah! Let's send emissaries to other clans to recite Orngaren's poem, I think. That's what I'm going to lean towards. Orngaren will be remembered as a woman of the sword who made peace when peace had to be made. What a shame that Orngaren had to die to free her kin from the curse. Orngaren will be remembered as a woman of the sword who made peace when peace had to be made. Orngaren's final words have humbled me. I can't... This isn't... She was so young, and those words. In the end, death tricks us all. Yeah, let's send emissaries to other clans to recite Orngaren's poem. They listened politely. Well, now we gotta reorganize the clan. Alright, well... She was of a Dahlia. Already have a Lankar Mai on the ring. Well, we got 2 Ronaldo worshippers, and we don't have any on the ring. They're both women. That would be a good to replace a woman with a woman. Very good magic, fair combat, no combat, excellent animals, good animals. You have excellent animals. Alright. I'll take you for your magic and for your being a different, of a different deity. Wow, excellent bargaining at age 18. But you are a worshipper of Chalana Roy, which I don't really need right now. We don't have anyone of Orlanth, which kind of sucks. Oh well. Go ahead and reorganize this. Alright, still Earth season. Let's see. Let's go ahead and sacrifice Lancremai, because I would eventually like to be able to do hero quests for him, because they're pretty easy. The literacy ritual. A thrall owned by the Heron clan stumbles into your clan lands, begging for help. We realize that it is our lot in life to serve, he says, but we can no longer serve the Harani, who mistreat us terribly. Even a thrall can take only so much injustice before he must rise up and strike a blow for freedom. It transpires that this thrall, Verlaine, incited a rebellion on the Haran Tula. He and his fellow thralls killed several Harani and fled to the woods. Outraged Haran thanes are now pursuing them, seeking vengeance. Let's see. You suggest nothing. If we help Verlaine, we offend the Harani, who have reason to dislike us. If we captured Verlaine, they will think well of us. Our people have always opposed the taking of thralls. We should send a war party to intercept the Haran thanes. If we act in accordance with the traditions of our ancestors, our clan magic will be strengthened. We can't afford to get embroiled in all this now. Our fields need work. Our crops need care. Normally it would cost us a mere 5 cows to buy each thrall, but since they need to be captured to be of any use, we can get them for far less. I'll go. You need to send only a few warriors with me. Our people have always opposed the taking of thralls. It will cost us a mere 10 cows to buy each thrall. Why do you keep lying to me, Vanina? Convince them to abandon their pursuit. Offer to buy the rebellious thralls from the Harani. Send a war party to fight the Haran thanes. Let's convince the Haran thanes to abandon their pursuit. How many warriors accompany Rostikos? What argument does Rostikos use? It is wrong to mistreat thralls. It is illegal to mistreat thralls. You are closing the stead door after the horses have fled. It is wrong to mistreat it is illegal to mistreat thralls. Go with that. Their chief Endal disagreed with Rostikos' citation of the legal precedents and suggested that we should mind our own affairs. They said that they would continue to pursue the thralls. During our absence, Verlaine slipped his guards and rejoined his group. He and the other thralls escaped their pursuers. We later heard that they lived as outlaws and were eventually all killed by the people they preyed upon. Oh, you know, that's the way it goes. Let's see. I could sacrifice 2 Asaris. There are still a few other things that I would not mind getting. We have learned the workings of the Silver Tongue ritual. Silver Tongue helps our traders and negotiators. That is probably better than Spare Grain. I'm not sure how much Spare Grain is actually helping. Let's go on a cattle raid. Against the Tedenlings! Nope. Had to run home. Young boys of the Wolf Clan, not even men yet, come to your Tula and attack another young boy with a sword. Fortunately, the victim's mother, Domasa Glendara's daughter, is able to separate the boys before any real harm can be done. It turns out that the Wolf boys are sons of Norpent Rangardason, who was slain by Domasa and her late brother Brodesart when they recovered the stolen stallion, Tempest, from Rangarda Darkeyes. The boys seek vengeance in their father's name, even though they are too young to have a right to it. Oh, we must not let this old feud further worsen relations with the wolves. They are not men, and not yet accountable for their actions. King Oskel was slain not in a glorious battle like the ones he fought against Bad King or Grain, but was killed by a rock-throwing boy in a feud he swore to end. Domasa married into the wolves a while back, but her husband divorced her, fearing that she would become as vengeful as her mother, Glendara. So Domasa lives with us again, even though she is expecting a child. The proper ransom for these boys would be 5 cows each, but I think I can get more. Orlanth made justice so that disputes could be ended by words as well as swords. They're boys, yet behave as men. We must kill them. Venena! Holy cow! Convince the boys to renounce vengeance. They said they would do so. Well, that's good. Oh my. Brenna, member of the Six Brothers Ring, comes looking for warriors who will join a hunting party. Their Tula is being terrorized by a gigantic and dangerous creature called the Black Worm. They will pay 3 cows worth of goods to each warrior willing to help. They need up to 5 warriors. Send a party to help convince the worm to move along. Offer to send warriors, but at a higher price. Offer to take full responsibility for killing the worm. Refuse her. Send warriors to hunt and kill the worm. If we help the Six Brothers, it will strengthen our ties with them. We don't have to help the Six Brothers, but it's in everyone's interest to remove a danger like this. Our ancestors ignored dragons. We should too. I don't think that's a great idea when it's marauding through a region. Anyone wanting to convince a worm must be able to think like a worm. 4 cows each for each warrior is as high as she will go. If we lead the hunting party, we'll have more control over what happens to our warriors. Worms aren't as frightening as they look. Let's send a party to convince the worm to move along. I have lost, like, my good combat people. You're only good at combat. You're excellent at combat. I would rather not lose either of you, though. Well, I suppose if we send Vostir and he dies, we could put Esmelder on. Although we already have an Arnalda worshipper. Alright, Vostir, you go. Let's send 5 weapon thanes. How much do you give the worm? Oh. I didn't realize it was that kind of thing. Oh, crap. Let's do that. Vostir sought out the worm and told it that it was unfairly harming the people of the clan Six Brothers. It replied that people were interlopers in Dragon Pass, and that we should count ourselves lucky that the Dragonkin confined their eating to a few farm animals. Okay. Well, not as good as I would have liked, but whatever. Let's go ahead and try a quest. So let's see. What quests can we do? We can do Chalana Arroy heals the scars. It's suggesting Oranda. Oh, that means we wouldn't have to send Temertane. Can't do Elmal guards a stead. Arnal defeats a tribe. Humak the champion. Isari is a conciliator. Lankermai finds the truth. We can do the making of the storm tribe. Let's see. This quest can gain Orlanth's blessing for tribe making, improve our reputation or political abilities, or make the quester a strong leader. Orlanth and Aroka. To end a drought caused by kinsmen. Let's see. This quest can bring rain, gain a treasure, strengthen our clan or quester, make dragon newts fear us, or shield us from kin strife. And we cannot do Eralda's blessing. Well, Temertane wanted to do Orlanth and Aroka. So let's try that. Let's go ahead and read the details of that. Orlanth and Aroka. Drought strikes the land, so Orlanth seeks out Aroka, a dragon summoned by the watery blue tribe. Orlanth slays Aroka, releasing the rain god Heller from the dragon's belly. Heller then ends the drought. Okay, so this is like the most basic information that you know. Orlanth and Aroka. There came a time when the rich splendor which Ernalda had given to Orlanth began to fade and dwindle. This troubled the god, and he sought to learn the cause. Only one person is doing this, said Ernalda. But I have refrained from telling you, dear husband, because I know that you honor kinship so much. I would never wish to aggravate an already bad situation. The world is poorer for your silence, said Orlanth. Our own people suffer and go hungry. Tell me, good wife. At your command, O husband, I will instigate kin strife. Your nephew is the cause of our woe. He is drying my fields and starving the world. His name is Daga, and he is the son of Molani, your niece. I have fought with my brothers already, and most of my nephews as well. For you, my sweet wife, I will go and speak to him. And then I will threaten him, and I will curse him. And, there we go. And then I will drive him off or kill him. There is more, my love, to know of your foe. His father is the same as your enemy, the tyrant who would hold all of the world in his hand. Yelm is the father of Daga, born to shameless Milani. Then my decision is made. I will seek him and kill him, and treat him as they treated young Varnaval. Then I should find my kinswoman, daughter of my brother, and teach her the lessons of the storm. Thus she will be ruined, and another dishonor heaped upon my family and my name. We shall eat, said Arnalda. The people will love you. And Orlanth went off and fought against Daga, but he was unable to win. Daga was a specter, a wan and frightening thing, without substance to strike, or forced to scatter Orlanth. Without substance to strike or forced to scatter. I didn't see the period in there. Orlanth thundered and raged at Daga, but nothing he did had any effect. Neither could Daga hurt Orlanth. So soon Daga turned and simply ignored the god. The people had seen Orlanth come forth to fight, and they cried out to him, not knowing that he was powerless to overcome their foe. Hearing their cries, Orlanth knew he had to find a way to win. Orlanth soon sought a long while, testing many weapons and inventing many new attacks, but he was no closer to success when Ernalda came to him again. Husband, forgive me, for I was wrong when I said that there was only one who has acted against our people. There is another foe, and that other has also turned on its kin. Wife, you bring welcome news, because if there is another who has broken ties, and no kin of mine, my strength will not fail. Who aids Daga? Your old enemy, the Blue Tribe, my lord, have called upon the powers of the deep. Aroka, the Blue Dragon, has answered the call. Aroka crawled in secret to the stead of Heller, the Lord of Rain, and ravaged Heller's stead until Heller came to defend his home. And although Heller is the Blue Tribe's own, Aroka swallowed him whole, and now the monster hides within its lair, holding the rain that could protect the people from Daga. I have fought with the Blue Tribe already. I have beaten the Blue Tribe's elders and tricked its champions. I have blasted the Blue Tribe's armies and slain its magicians. I will teach this dragon the lessons of the storm. Heroka had great powers. Its eyes could paralyze any intelligent thing, its tongue could choke any physical thing, and its breath could destroy any spirit. Orlanth prepared himself against the monster. He brought a sack with the 4 winds in it, an ancient flint sword called a clanth, a twisted vine which held the upper wind, and a leather rope which held the lower wind. He spent a year chanting songs of power and ate of Ernalda's splendor bread and drank crazy black wide brew. Orlanth was delayed in his voyage, first by Krakos, the troll avenger, who was angry because Orlanth broke his father's legs. Orlanth defeated him and took his dark wind. Then came Gagarth, the left-blowing wind. Orlanth beat him too. He took the wind of above from him. As he traveled, Orlanth reached the place of strangers, and there he met the Dark Woman. Their child was born later, and it was called Crushing Noise. At last Orlanth found the lair of Heroka, which lay past the Poison Thorn Acre. Orlanth came out of the north to attack. Heroka the dragon refused to rise to confront the approaching god. Orlanth released the Dark Wind first, which bears the howls of lost souls. It filled the creature's lair so it could not bear to be in it, and so it rose to fight. First Heroka opened its eyes to destroy the mind of Orlanth. The storm god released the 4 winds, and they cast their weapons at the eyes of the dragon, blinding it. Heroka lashed out with its tongues. Orlanth released the upper wind, and this dried out the snaking enemy. Heroka roared out its final breath, but Orlanth captured it inside the magical sack of winds and threw it away. Then Orlanth strode into its mouth and seized the upper jaws with his hands and placed his foot against the lower jaw, and with a shout of victory tore the dragon asunder. The great flood of blood, water, and mead swept over the land. Inside was Heller, the rain god, who was Orlanth's friend afterwards. Heller and Orlanth went against Daga, pounding the land and covering it with rain. Orlanth captured Daga and put him in an iron jar. Soon Ernalda was nourishing again, and drought was banished for as long as Orlanth was chieftain. So long as people are not selfish and are not foolish enough to let him out by propitiating him, Daga remains safely in the jar. Okay, so that gives us an idea of what we need to do. So let's go ahead and do the quest. And Orlanth and Heroka. Let's go ahead and send Firenna. She does have excellent combat, so hopefully that will go well for her. Let's go ahead and bring in the Hendart. The people have gathered their magic to help propel Firenna into the place of the gods. Although the Hendarti refused our request for assistance, what benefit does she seek? Ooh. Let's make our warriors stronger. The Ernalda priestess says the words that Ernalda once said to Orlanth. Only one person is doing this, but I have refrained from telling you, dear husband, because I know that you honor kinship so much. Firenna speaks the words of Orlanth and bids her to continue. At your command, O husband, I will instigate kinstrife. It is your nephew who is the cause of our woe. Your sister's son is drying my yields and starving the world. His name is Daga, and he is the son of Molani, your niece. I have fought with my brothers already, and most of my nephews as well. For you, sweet wife, I will go and speak to him, and then I will threaten him, and then I will curse him, and then I will drive him off or kill him. I have fought with my brothers already, and most of my nephews as well. For you, sweet wife, I will go and speak to him, and then I will threaten him, and then I will curse him, and then I will drive him off or imprison him. Once there was no chaos in the world, and no death in the world. Kinstrife was bad, but not as bad as it is now. Maybe the fight with Daga is what allowed chaos and death to come in the first place. I must find another way. Well, if we remember from the text of the myth, it's drive off or kill him. Firenna goes to fight Daga in the place of the gods. Daga has no substance to strike, nor force to scatter. Let's just end the quest. Keep fighting, do not stop until Daga is slain. Let Daga win, but fight defensively to minimize injury. Take a few blows from Daga, then flee. Take whatever punishment Daga dishes out. Let's take a few blows from Daga, then flee. Knowing that Orlanth was defeated during the stage of the myth, Firenna took enough blows from Daga to complete the requirements, and quickly fled. Ferenna learns that there is a secret weapon to use against Daga, the rain god Heller, but Heller is trapped in the belly of Heroka the dragon. Ferenna gathers the weapons, a sack with the 4 winds in it, an ancient flint sword called a clanth, a twisted vine which holds the upper wind, and a leather rope which holds the lower wind. She eats of Arnalda's splendor bread and drinks crazy black wide brew. Then she goes off in search of Heroka, but on the way, Glorantha is ambushed by other enemies. Beat the enemies and take something from each one. End the quest. Evade the enemies. They are not the point. Fight them defensively. Beat the enemies and take something from each one. The first foe is Gagarth, the Bad Wind. Does Ferenna fight Gagarth or try to seduce him? Oh my. Seduce. Gagarth ignored Ferenna's flirtatious entreaties. Flirtations and entreaties, sneering at her efforts. She failed to seduce Gagarth. Now that seduction has failed, does Ferenna fight Gagarth? Sure. Gagarth buffeted Ferenna with the full force of his greatest weapon, the awesome wind from above, tearing the flesh from Ferenna's face and scalp. Ferenna was driven bleeding from the realm of the gods and reappeared in the ritual ground, to the disappointment of the worshippers who had invested so much energy in supporting her journey to the realm of the gods. Well, that's unfortunate. I have heard disturbing rumors about the activities of our enemies, the Conthassos. They have asked the wolves, our neighbors, for permission to use their Tula as a staging area for raids against us. Well, we have not succeeded in our first hero quest, so that is very unfortunate. We may need to work on trying to get some of the other myths. I would like to get the Asaris and Lankermai ones. Those are pretty easy to get. Or those, I should say, those are pretty easy to do. 28 babies were born. We initiated 39 children as adults. Clan has 4 fewer people, 20 fewer head of cattle, 8 fewer horses, and 43 more sheep than we did last Sacred Time. We produced 1,033 and ate 68 bushels of food. 83 were lost due to spoilage. Our crafters produced 83 cows worth of goods. Our market made a profit of 4 cows worth of goods. Alright, well, when we come back next time, we will not be doing a hero quest next year. It is always wise to wait a year between hero quests. You don't have to. You can succeed year after year, but it is harder to succeed 1 year after performing one. So, we will not be doing that next year. See you next time, everyone.